Hello YouTube subscribers, today or tonight whenever you're watching this, I am doing basically my first Crow review, my first Crow movie review, basically my first review anything on the Crow. Now, I know it's a bit weird that I basically put makeup on my face. Not the best, but not the best, the cheapest, and the quickest as I could get my hands on, so I could do this review for you guys, because since I was at work basically yesterday, since I'm recording this 12 o'clock in the morning, that basically, since I did wanted to do a review on the original Crow movie, I wanted to do paint my face for this review. Basically, basically, try to paint my face as best as possible. Basically, get the eyes, the face, and then, which I thought, okay, I could, thank goodness that one of my spare Halloweens are open currently, and I thought I could just run in, buy at least the cheapest one that's available I could get, so I could do this review for you guys. And yeah, I was so excited, but also worried that I might mess up the makeup, because I really wanted to do this personally, because as a fan of the Crow movie, as I am a fan of the Crow movie, the original one. Have I seen any of the other ones, the sequels, the remake TV show, and am I gonna go see the latest, newest one? No, I haven't seen any of the sequels, I haven't seen the remake TV show, and I seriously doubt I'm gonna go see the newest one. But I just wanted to do a review on the original Crow movie. So I figure, as a fan, a faithful fan, and to represent the Crow as a fan, and while doing a review, I would paint my face, obviously. So obviously, like I said, I went to my current open spare Halloween store, bought the cheapest makeup kit I thought would be very good to get. Currently not, well, mostly, because I got the small $12 before tax, $12.99, basically $13 little small makeup kit. Thought that could help me. It was cheap. Thought could get the job done. And I was very worried to do it by myself. And I did this by myself. And I'm not very happy how it turned out, mostly. I'm happy how the lips turned out. I'm happy how the face turned out. But not the eyes. Not around the eyes. I am very disappointed how I did that. But I'm hoping on camera, which I'm looking at it right now, it's terrible. Mostly the lips looks terrible too. I look like a freaking goth clown. But So I wanted to be faithful to the movie while doing something awesome during the review, which this was supposed to be the awesome part, which it really looks terrible and not really awesome, but at least I tried, and at least I thought of a very good idea. But next time when I know now, next time when I come up with this, get better shit for to do something like this. But anyway, um, The Crow, the original Crow movie that came out in the year 1994. This original Crow movie came out in 1994. Now, I gotta say, a friend of my dad's introduced this movie to me. I was very young. It was like around the year 2012. And it was like a few days or weeks after I saw the very first Avengers film. He thought it would be cool, since I was into superheroes, to introduce The Crow to me, since it is a version of a superhero. Basically is a superhero, just for gothic people, and mostly not for gothic people. But and when I watched it, I was very young. I couldn't keep my mind on one thing, and okay, sorry. And so, and clearing up, I got kind of bored. But once I got a little bit older and my mom re-brought it up to me, that's when I remembered, oh yeah, I did try, but I was very young, so why not try, since I am a little bit older and a bit more. So I went back, re-watched it, loved it, I enjoyed it. And my mom did tell me the background about Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee. That sadly he did die on set. To me, a lot of people pointed out it. To me, I feel like it's the same thing with Heath Ledger's Joker. Some people said that the accident died halfway through the movie, halfway while they were doing the movie, when reality, if you actually watch the movie with Heath Ledger and Brandon Lee, it looks like they actually did do their part throughout the whole filming. But I mean, it's debatable. Some people hear one thing, some people hear another, and there's just the middle people that just believes whatever, how they feel. Now, I truly feel like the original Crow movie, it is something that it was something, the original Crow, I truly feel like it was something that was made beautifully. Does it hold up to today? Most parts, but not every part of the movie. But it's still a good film for every generation to watch, to know what was the perfect masterpiece of The Crow. And that basically can the Crow movie be okay having a sequel or a bunch of sequels? No. Is it okay to have a remake TV show? No. Is it okay to have a new remake, but in a movie this time? No. It is something you have to keep by itself. Why? Because it is a masterpiece. The I I will agree with everybody that basically The Crow is basically Brandon Lee, the son of Bruce Lee, made the character in live action for what it was, for what The Crow is, for what The Crow was. The comic book aspect, yes, it's based on a comic book slash novel slash comic book. Um, and, and since it was based on that, even the author said Brandon Lee will be and always be the Crow, no one else. Not, I'm just quoting from this generation, from 2024 or 25, whatever. Basically, Jason Momoa. And short amount as I know of a list, Jason Momoa and Bill Skarsgård will not be, never be, the Crow. Not trying to be mean to Bill Skarsgård, but he looks like the Suicide Squad Joker. And basically, I love Bill Skarsgård as It from the new It movies, but as the Crow, it just does not work for me. Even though I do like him as an actor, even though I do like his dad as an actor as well, but it's just, there's just some things that does not deserve to be touched, like how some people believe Back from the Future should be remade, when honestly some of the actors they do want to see in the remake, which is Robbie Downey Jr. and Tom Holland, it's cute, it's funny because how they were in the MCU, but no. But anyway, back to The Crow. Brandon Lee made the character for what The Crow is today, even back then, and because Brandon Lee not just made The Crow into his own character, because they did, which I understood, they had to change, even the author understood that you had to change a little bit of the character from the comic book to the screen. So, even though they did that, they still made it good. They still made it The Crow what the Crow storyline meaning was. Basically, you basically got this loving couple that is so happy, so loving towards each other, and that he used to be, I'm taking it as he used to be because I just watched it and that's kind of what I felt like, a rock star, and that basically since he retired so he could kind of be with this girl, and they were about to get married on Halloween, and the night before Halloween basically got an accident happened. Basically, a bunch of gangsters, bad people, rapists, just over the top, every name of the list, but from top to bottom, just stormed into their apartment and said that basically it's getting taken. It's no longer theirs, and that basically she tried to fight it, and basically the leader of the bad people, top dollar, um, didn't like it, so he sent the men, and the men took control and basically did every unspeakable, unforgivable thing to her. While, but the men, which seriously doubt it, said that, said to, the Crow, later on in the movie, that one of the men said that they would have allowed her to live if he didn't come in and interrupt, because while they were in the middle, before they even started anything, which I seriously doubt they would have allowed her to live, but he came in, they saw him, and they also killed him as well. So, and then, which basically, the myth goes, a crow basically sends, or that basically takes a soul and helps it go to the other side, guards it to the other side, and basically, and if something so bad happens, it can bring the soul back to the living, back, while basically, and since it basically does that, as I'm trying to explain this the best way I can. Basically, since something so bad happened to Eric, I feel like I'm getting his names wrong. Since and since that basically the Crow died in the most terrible way, lost this girl, had to see how he died, watching his girl most time getting attacked in the most horrific way. It was just, it didn't felt right, it didn't sit right, as it normally doesn't. So, and since that was such bad thing that happened, the Crow brought him back to the living, brought him back from the dead to get revenge, because if a soul knows that it cannot rest because it wants revenge of what not just happened to him or her, but also to their love, and since their love was so strong, that's what also pushed for him to rise back up, because, as some cheesy people say, mostly Disney, true love is stronger than anything, sometimes even revenge. But with the Crow situation, mixing love and revenge makes it even deeper, stronger, and basically, as I looked at the Crow movie situation, it's kind of like Moon Knight. I kind of looked at it that way, is that basically, if you look at Moon Knight and the Crow, it's kind of similar to each other. Basically, if you look at the Crow storyline, the whole myth, the whole storyline, I said that twice, but the myth, the whole superhero aspect to the Crow. It makes it feel like the Crow ability, the whole thing about the Crow is like a god type thing. Is that basically you love this person, doesn't matter who it was, and you want revenge on the people that wronged you and the person you loved. I can give you that in return, while you do that, I can give you power, which is super speed. He can see out of the Crow's eyes. I want to say super jump, healing. He can heal. He can basically disappear, and he, he's kind of like, he's basically like almost every superhero, just with certain things that's not, like he got super strength, healing, just some of those things. And I gotta give, I do like the story plot, including I do like how the director thought, okay, well, in the comics, or at least I don't know if it's true, but I heard that the director said, well, the Crow doesn't really have a weakness other than the people that he loves, but how would we be able to have the villain take away his power? Hurt the Crow. The director thought, well, what happened would the power would go away if the villain hurts the Crow, if the Crow dies. Basically, that's why. But the Crow only gets hurt mostly. The Crow doesn't really die, unlike the other sequels. So that's partly why I consider the Crow as a god type thing, because you can hurt a god, but there's only so much you could do until you could actually figure out a way how to permanently kill it, but weakened it just enough to take away a power from a human that the god give him. But basically, I do enjoy the Crow movie, the original Crow movie that I'm reviewing, obviously, but I like the storyline. I like the acting from every actor they have in this movie, including from Brandon Lee, which they do make a mention that the movie was for him, that's why they still brought out the movie, is that even though it was it released after he died, that's why the director and the whole crew wanted to release the movies, to basically represent him, to basically not allow this movie, and not just for the movie purposes, but just like to honor him in that way, and have people look at him as the person that could be the only one to play the Crow. And basically, it's true. He put his heart and soul into this. He played it so well, where it's like, you can't look at anybody else and say, oh shit, that's not the Crow. But look to this other corner with the original movie, it's like, now that's the Crow. Sure, you could slap on the makeup, white, black, whole shebang, but you're just another fan playing cosplay. Or basically, right now, the Suicide Squad Joker wannabe Crow. So it's like, it's like, I get it, with superhero movies, it's easier to do remakes on, including with horror movies as well. But it's like, you gotta ask the question, does it really need to be touched? Does this perfect art canvas really needs to be redone? Because you got a famous actor that lost his life in this role, that basically put his 100,000% into this character that he was meant to play, and for someone to turn around and just, but it's just, I do like the story plot, I do like the action, I do like how they were able to make comic book pages to pop on screen, because there's some scenes where it does feel like it's from the comic book, it jumped off from the page, including Bruce Lee not Bruce Lee, Brandon Lee himself feels like he basically popped out of the comic book himself. And I do like the long hair kind of like putting into his face mostly, but so including some of the things like when he was remembering the pain, when the pain he has, what fuels the power to a certain extent, while remembering that pain, and the mask that he looks at that's hanging on the side of the mirror, how it's like frowning but trying to smile, where it basically represents him at that moment where he just returned from the grave. He's remembering, feeling all that pain that he felt that night, and he's slowly becoming conscious of that revenge, and instead of just being full brain revenge, and that basically and throughout the movie you see that he tries to smile and even with the people that's still alive and cares about him. He tries to smile for them, but he can't. He knows he can't, because he's so full of rage, anger, revenge, pain, is that basically that's what takes over him, and that's why in most scenes you can see that basically he's still grieving, which is understandable, but the whole point of the Crow is that you gotta get over your grief. It's not just revenge that can help you rest. It's basically to help you heal of the pain that you felt that night while searching for the the people that killed you, that made you this way. And basically by burning, and there's one scene where he's like burning the photos of him and her being happy, and his girl, and this little girl that they like to take care of, because this little girl is um basically to a certain point started being like a daughter to them, and that basically they loved her like a daughter, and not just as like a friend, but as a daughter. And because this little girl's mom wasn't very much of a mom, she was basically a fun girl, didn't really give two shits about her daughter, and just go off, do drugs and party and stuff. So it was up with Eric and his girl to take care of her, hang out with her, and they enjoyed having their so those were one of the photos that he burned. It you could tell it killed him by remembering those happy moments, but it's something he needed to do, because you see that basically he needed those moments to grieve and to get to remember the happy moments, even though it's painful. It's there, just like in other parts of the comic book of him grieving, it's him cutting himself, but the scars don't stay, or I think in the comic book the scars do stay, but I think they kind of cut that part out because of a certain type of extent, which I did. So basically, I did like the villains of the Crow movie. I did like I did like Brandon Lee as the Crow. I will always like him as the Crow. I do respect him as the Crow. And basically, out of every Crow movie that will be made, the original will always be my favorite, because not just of the acting, the action, the graphics, the storyline. That's cool and all, and yes, that's what made the movie, but most of all, it's Brandon Lee that made the movie, and to me, that's more precious than anything. But so it's basically, honestly, I have no words. I just basically randomly said them all. I just randomly said them all repeatedly. Partly tired. But and I know it's a long video review. I did not mean it for it to be a long one. But I hope you guys enjoyed this movie review video. I hope you guys hit that like button if you guys liked it. If you guys didn't, I wouldn't mind if you guys did hit that dislike button, because if you guys didn't, then hey, that's your honest opinion and I respect that. But if you guys did, like I said, please hit that like button. If you're a original subscriber that came back, I appreciate you guys. Keep coming back. If you're a newcomer randomly dropping by, please hit that subscribe button, and so you could, because I welcome all new and old subscribers with open arms. Please drop a comment down below on whatever you didn't like me doing during this video. because I would like to know what I did wrong that you may not like. Also drop a comment down below anything about The Crow, which Crow movie is your favorite movie. Is it the original? Is it one of the sequels? Or is it the remake TV show? Are you excited for the new Crow movie? Uh, which, uh, um, did you read the Crow comic books? If you did, which one's your favorite? What part of the comic book is your favorite? Um, so, yeah. Like I said, I enjoyed the Crow movie. I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad I rewatched it. Um, so it is a good superhero movie. It is a good action movie. It's not something you want to pass by at all or anything. It does have a good soundtrack. It does have a good meaning to it. It really helps a lot with a lot of people that's going through a lot of stuff. And it, not just the movie, but also the comic book itself. And also, here's another thing I want to ask you guys. To drop in the comments down below. Do you guys think The Crow, if you guys seen the original Crow movie, do you guys think that the original Crow movie is a horror movie in a way, or is it just a superhero movie to you guys? Because if you guys think it's a horror movie, then can you please point out in the comments that what the part of the horror is in it? Because I just rewatched it. I didn't see any way how it could be horror. I just saw more of how it's more superhero than horror. But other than like maybe the angles of the camera to make it a little bit fear, but don't they? But it's not like they. But if that's the case, you might as well say Batman is part of horror, or Ghost Rider, Blade. But anyway. So yeah, have a nice night, have a nice day, whenever you're watching us. Peace.